Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. I always say, if you're just landing here, I'm glad you did. I hope you stick around, hit that like, and please subscribe button. Trying to grow the channel, grow the audience. I love doing this work and getting here on the platform with you all and taking a look, going to Spirit, taking a look and getting deeper insights on what's happening around us, especially politically. And if you are new to me, again, I am a Fefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond. I'm a tarot reader, been doing it for decades, but I'm also a former newspaper journalist, and I am an initiated priestess in both African and Wiccan traditions. So I try to use all of that experience to come here and give you some interesting and good content around, especially around politics. I'm usually here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can hit your notification bell. Would love to have you. Also, want to say a special thank you to those of you who joined me yesterday. We had a very, very wonderful workshop on the movie Sinners, and the timing of that was awesome because we had the Oscars last night. There was some instant, mixed bag. They did get some awards. So happy that Michael B. Jordan won for Best Actor. Like, I cannot imagine the reaction had he not won, based on playing two different characters. 16 nominations for the film, which was historic, and they only got four awards. But that said, it was still a very celebratory moment, and very, very happy for them. That I'm gonna move in kind of quickly on some things here today. Make sure I got my deck facing the right way. I am reading with the Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms. I know a lot of readers watch the channel, so I wanted to tune you in on that. A lot of stuff was going on this weekend around this sort of hide and seek with Benjamin Netanyahu, right? Bibi, we call him Bibi Netanyahu, and the challenge right now, as many of you know, is like, what's real, what's not, what's AI, why isn't why aren't more media sources covering some of the questions that we have, but we also see all the increasing threats, that if they don't report the way that they're being told to, it can cause problems. They're even being, you got Hegseth out there talking about treason and Trump right there behind him. Okay, but we'll keep going. We are getting the news, and thank goodness for social media platforms and many international news sources. I have even started, I don't know about you, I've started watching my cable outlet, my internet provider. I can get BBC News and some others, Reuters. Went ahead and subscribed to them, just trying to broaden the base of how we can get our information. That said, back to the subject at hand, lots of stuff going back and forth this weekend around, like, was this video with Netanyahu, who appeared, apparently they're saying 6 fingers, and then we saw another one released with him apparently in a coffee shop. Now, Reuters did verify that the coffee shop exists and that the timing of the video did seem to be legit. But there's also the question of, like, well, Netanyahu knows that there are a lot of questions, like, is he still among the living, and why hasn't he done a live press conference? Like, why doesn't he just put this to rest, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take a look, you all, and see what I can find, and insight that I can get around his status. Is Benjamin Netanyahu, is he alive? Is he alive? What is his status? What's the deal with him? And he's being really cagey. Again, this sort of hide and seek. Is Benjamin Netanyahu among the living? I've got the 7 of Pentacles. Yes, but in hiding, or somehow maybe being evaluated. Let me go a couple of more cards. Is Benjamin Netanyahu, is he among the living? The Knight of Wands. Yeah, he's still moving around. And in this deck, they give a bonus major arcana card called the Celestial Weaver. This makes me wonder if he is perhaps in hiding somewhere, or they're moving him around, because Knight of Wands is a card of movement and actions being taken to assess him or evaluate where he would be most safe. But I also wonder, Spirit, is he, for some reason, I'm getting injury. Is he injured or in having a health crisis or something? Is he injured? Is he somehow compromised? The devil. Aha. I think that's why we're saying I'm not so sure. Spirit, was that video from the coffee shop, was that somehow tampered with or manufactured? The video that we saw of Netanyahu this weekend, was that tampered with or manufactured death? Mm-hmm. It was. It was. It was. Death can be, as we know, it's a very transformational card. It can signal an ending. It can also signal like the meat of this question. I'm. Oh, I'm almost getting you all that between this death and the devil, this hide and seek that he's playing, there's a part of Netanyahu and his handlers who want to perpetuate the idea that maybe he's no longer around, to throw Iran off in terms of the pursuit of him, right? Keeping that question in limbo. Is that part of what's happening here? Like faking it to take them off the scent. The Seven of Wands. This is a card of stand your ground, right? And it is a card of continued pursuit. But I feel like in answer to that question, Spirit is saying yes, because he understands the directive has been out there to get him, right? By Iran. So I think some of this is being manufactured and deliberate, not because it's in a literal sense that he's been taken out or somewhere crumbled up in a corner, but because to keep the perception of that alive, he thinks works to his advantage, to keep Iran and others around the globe questioning his status. Spirit, will we see Netanyahu live and proof positive that he's okay? Will he come forward anytime soon? The Five of Wands. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Is he in another country? Is he being holed up in another country? Six of Cups. That's plausible. A little more, Spirit. Is he someplace else? The Star. Mm-hmm. He's someplace else. Now where, I don't know. But he's someplace else, and he's playing this game because he sees it to his advantage not to come out, proof positive. Hey, guess what? Here I am, live and in charge. He also recognizes he loves playing the game. He loves dangling the carrots of keeping people guessing. So this little coffee shop scene where, and I watched the video, there were where he takes the sip of the coffee's filled to the brim. He takes this big gulp, and like the coffee never moved when the hand comes back down. There's a lot of stuff going on around there. But I do not see that he's crossed over. I see that he is being deliberate. He's using this as a political ploy to keep especially the leadership in Iran guessing about his whereabouts and about his status. All right. So we'll keep an eye on that. Second thing that I wanted to look at today is Trump's worst fears are coming true. The fact that he's now, all of this bluster about, we got this handled, don't you worry about, we doing this. We're winning, da 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 da. But then comes out and says, by the way, we need around 7 countries to come and help us. Send some warships into the Strait of Hormuz to try and help. You all know the deal, right? Try and help us out. And the allies, like down the list, I wrote them out. UK, Australia, Canada, Japan, Germany, Greece are all like, not really feeling compelled to do that. For what? He is freaking out, you all, that he's recognizing that this is not the same game that he played with tariffs, where leaders all around around the globe were like, whoa, okay, we got to deal with this guy around tariffs, because he has, on the trade front, he has the leverage to force these responses from various leaders of countries. When it comes to the war in Iran, very, very different situation and landscape, and he does not have the influence and the power, and it is making him crash out, you all. Spirit, does Trump, you know who I mean by that, is Trump crashing out? Like, does he feel boxed in? Is he realizing that he's lost his grip? He does not have the influence and power that he's always said that he had, and that he's been showing, especially around the tariff issue. Wait a minute, I can do better than that. Let me go back at it and shuffle. These little cards are big and these little hands. All right, we got it that time. Spirit, please show me or show us Trump's state of mind regarding the refusal by various countries, allies, NATO allies especially, to join him in this effort in the Strait of Hormuz. Is this like blowing his mind? Is he about to blow a gasket? And on the health front, the issue of a health event related to a possible stroke for entertainment purposes only, not wishing any harm, but that has been on the radar for some months. The Tower. And if you read with me, I never ignore an ace, and I've got the Ace of Pentacles behind it. You all, this is, for all of his inhumane ways, he is a human, and he is an older, body failing him human. Ace of Pentacles in the body, he's recognizing in a very visceral way that he's lost it now. But I also get that this Tower is making him want to just destroy more, because we know that's his thing. Spirit, is this making him erupt so that he's going to push even harder than for amplification by the U.S. ground troops, essentially? Page of Wands. That's it. He then sees it as, okay, if you won't help me, then I'm going to use the leverage and the power that I have here in the U.S. to just amp it up on my own. And we know Hegseth is all about it. He's like, yes, by all means, let's just jump off the cliff. The Nine of Wands, but he also recognizes that in doing that, he will have jeopardized so much. He's already toast, and he knows he is. That spiel that he gave around, if they do something to me to take him out, they will rue the day, because then I've already given orders that should something happen to me, you know what to do. It's full scale, take them out. I think that, but the Nine of Wands is creating that pressure among those who would be, not just about Hegseth, but about military commanders and generals who would then be put in that position. It's too much. And the pressure is already mounting. They are already thinking 3 steps ahead about what could come, knowing that they went into this without a plan. The Eight of Swords, stress to the max, but this is Trump. This is internalized fears that he will never in a million years own up to or admit to. Spirit, is this going to lead to a culmination? Is this going to culminate in a health event? Perhaps a stroke. Seven of Swords. They'll cover it up, of course. Queen of Cups. I feel like that's someone advising him, perhaps even Susie Wiles saying, or the plan already being with that Seven of Swords, deception, trickery, betrayal. There's already a plan perhaps in place by a Susie Wiles. Is that who I'm looking at? To cover it up in the event of that health emergency. And Spirit has talked about that as well. When whatever happens to him and he's no longer capable of functioning. Spirit has talked about that. This channel, many others, you all know it. The plan is to cover it up because they still need him as a figurehead. Two of Pentacles. This is a choice that is made for how to cover it up. But Pentacles is the plan. The Seven of Pentacles. How long can they hold out? And the King of Cups. This would be a doctor or someone coming out, and the Three of Swords. This would be someone who eventually breaks and has to come out and announce that something has happened to him, something really devastating, something that has sidelined him. But there's also a plan to try and delay that for as long as possible. And the reason, again, that I'm asking this in connection with what's happening right now is because what I get is, look, the human body, how much do we know scientifically about in medicine about disease and the impact of stress? And so it doesn't matter. We know he's getting pumped up with whatever they're giving him on any given day to keep him going as long as possible. But you cannot outrun ultimately the fact that he is made of flesh and bone and tissues and organs that are under unbelievable stress, and that stress is mounting because he recognizes that he's losing power. And for someone like him, power is part of what keeps him alive. It's lifeblood for him. He's losing that power by the day, and he sees that, and there's nothing that he can do to stop it. Spirit, I don't know why I'm being led to ask this, but like, let's go for broke. Will he be among us? Will Trump still be among us for the 250th celebration of America? So July 4th of this year, July 4th, 2026. Will he still be among us? Or will this health event that we're seeing, will it have occurred by then? Will he be among us in July? Five of Cups, struggling. Three of Wands, March, April, May, June. And Strength. I think he will still be among us. But he will be in such a diminished, that Five of Cups is not coming for no reason. He will be in such a diminished form by then, tying into what we're looking at. Oh, you see me tapping, those are my notes. Flying in the face of the continued diminishment of his influence globally will increase. I think that's also where we're seeing that Three of Wands. So over the course, I feel like that's timing. Over the course of the next several months, his influence continues to wane. And even if what I'm hearing from Spirit is, even if the situation in Iran were to go away tomorrow, which we know that it won't. We know this is going to be much longer than we were ever told. But if it did, it will not change the course of what has happened with him and what he has put in place. That is irreversible. The Strength card, I want to see a little more about that in relation to whether he's still here in July. The Ace of Pentacles. What is this the beginning of? Is this the beginning of the end? Or so like a demarcation of when he gets removed one way or another? The Two of Cups. That feels like a transfer of power. Spirit, are we looking at JD? And that's going to be my third question for today from Spirit for you all. We're going to go to that in a minute. Is this Two of Cups the transfer of power to JD Vance? The Four of Pentacles, trying to keep stability, and the Tower. Whoa. Hold on. Is something going to happen to like the removal of both of them? Like an overhaul? The Nine of Wands, that would be movement, some sort of movement in Congress. The Eight of Pentacles, like articles put forth. The push for articles to go forth. To remove him and Vance. The Page of Cups, the desire for it. And the World, completion. Y'all, ain't nothing written in stone. But this is looking like some things may happen to the extent that they got to go. Like the whole kit and caboodle of them got to go. Wow. The world, completion, page of cups, like a new reset, a new energy. Spirit said, that's reminding me, Spirit said a while ago, and some of you have talked about it as well, that there may be, some of you have been getting, and I love your gifts and sharing your psychic hits as well, that there may be talking about moving into a very, very different governmental structure, that there may be like a council or something like even an interim government or something that comes in. Is that the energy that we're seeing here, Spirit, in relation to the 250th anniversary, like somewhere around the summer? Knight of Swords, movement. There are people out here talking who would be among this council, members of this council or members of this interim government. And Temperance. Y'all, this energy is out there. Remembering too, in a political context, temperance I talk about this when I teach the major arcana. Temperance is where you have very often polarized factions of something that have to come together, alchemize to find a common solution. So this could even be Democrats and Republicans, having to come together to form an interim situation. For the sake, two cards just came. For the sake of healing the country. Three of Pentacles working together. This very much is in alignment with a council of some sort. And the Two of Swords would be a little bit of conflict around how to implement that. Because remind you, we're talking about something that never been done. Never, ever, ever been done. So this is going to require a lot of compromise, collaboration, that Three of Pentacles working together collaboratively, perhaps from very disparate, polarized factions, maybe conservatives and liberals or progressives and all of it coming together. But there are going to be some really interesting changes. And I think Trump, going back to what prompted that, the way that he has boxed himself in and really turned off our allies, played big dog bully for so long, and now got to go back and ask for their help. And they're like, mm-mm. And not only that, we understand that they're starting to align more with China. Therefore, we also understand that he was supposed to be going to China. I'm not sure when it was scheduled, but we heard that it's being postponed. Why is that? All right. Last thing I want to take a look at today is, we understand I'm taping this in the morning. I always tape in the morning when I'm fresh. But this afternoon sometime we're supposed to see a big to-do from the Oval, where Trump is signing the papers or whatever, putting into effect this what is it? The war on fraud, the task force that he has put J.D. Vance in charge of. Now, we know JD's been super quiet about all the events happening in Iran. We also know that before the actual strikes, when the U.S. did that, he was on the record. JD Vance was on the record, and not saying we can't do it, but also saying if something happens, it won't last long. We're not really about that war. We're not about war. We are about America first. So my question is he basically going down a rabbit hole? Is JD Vance going down a rabbit hole, and is Trump pushing him down that rabbit hole because he knows this is a failure? It's a failure before it even begins. A war on fraud based on what evidence, right? Targeting, continue to target blue states and blue counties, and coming up on a fishing, doing a fishing expedition to come up with something that doesn't really exist. Spirit, is he being set up deliberately? Is J.D. Vance being set up deliberately for failure by Trump and company? We also know, Spirit just reminded me, guess who his JD's senior advisor is going to be on this war on fraud? None other than Stephen Miller, who everything he touches. I mean, come on. Look at Kristi Noem. Mark Wayne Mullen probably ain't far behind, right? This man is... Yeah, that's another reading for another day, Stephen Miller. Yeah. a lot coming for him. Not right away. Right now, he's very still entrenched in power, but has he got some things coming his way? Spirit, is the plan to actually deflate J.D. Vance's potential for 2028? Other plans. The Celestial Warrior comes again. Remember, I said this is a special major arcana that's offered in this deck. Yes, I think this is hands down a greater plan, but I'm also seeing, because it's the Celestial Weaver weaving what happens with him. I think this is the universe that JD, for all of his chameleon like behavior over the years to reach, of course, with the backing of people like Peter Thiel, etc. But the fact that he has just continued to morph into whatever was necessary and say whatever was necessary at any given time, I think the universe is saying he's being allowed to go down this rabbit hole. It's not even, if Trump is instrumental in that, fine. But there's a larger purpose here for ultimately what happens with JD Vance. The Hierophant, government, his desire for power, his desire for influence. So is he being pushed off the cliff, essentially? Wheel of Fortune, karma. We can wrap this up. It's his karma. So I'm seeing this twofold. Again, yes, Trump is not doing him any favors by putting him, what he's doing is trying to give him, at least ostensibly, an off-ramp for why JD Vance is not more involved in what's happening with the war on Iran. And so it's taking him off of that international front and increasingly, trying to get him on a domestic agenda ahead of the midterms, right? The Six of Wands. Yeah, you go out there and you stir up some stuff. You got Stephen backing you up. And the Ace of Wands. Yeah, Spirit is saying we're on it. Or, we. We're on it. Yeah. This is also the beginning of the end for Vance. And that may have also been why in the last spread we got that tower around the Two of Cups, where it looked like both of them, like even after whatever this health event is with Trump, maybe by July, that Vance won't even be in a position to really come in and clean up. That it will be, this administration will be in such tatters that there has to be that temperance coming. There has to be somebody else. And I'm getting another ace, you all. I can wrap this reading up today. A lot of things happening between now and July. And it is not going to be the continuation of what is being done in this administration by J.D. Vance with this so-called war on fraud is only going to accelerate the decomposition, is the word Spirit just gave me, the decomposition of this administration, and not to even mention what is ultimately going to take place in the midterms. All right, y'all. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your comments. Please do, if you would, share the word about my channel. Trying to grow my audience and and increase the platform's exposure. So I appreciate your help with that. Hype if you can. Also, I really appreciate that. Meanwhile, chin up. You know how we do. Chin up. Right? Sometimes we got to push it. But chin up, shoulders back. Know who you are in this moment. You matter. One by one, collectively, we matter. And come from your heart, because the sky is above you and the earth is beneath you. We're solid, all right? We ain't going nowhere. I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.